What's up? What's up? And welcome back to another episode of the Agents of Chaos podcast. I'm your host, Scott Anderson. I'm here with my co-host, my brother, Brandon Anderson.
My dude.
We just gonna get right. It ain't even really like a whole lot. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Natasha Clark, subscriber. I saw that before we logged into the podcast. Shout out to you for doing that. The Sixers let go of their head coach.
Yeah.
Let him go. They said, Doc, hey, you're done here. Asked them out. What do you do if you're a Sixers fan? Let me say this. You brought in Ben Simmons, got rid of him, still didn't win. You brought in Jimmy Butler, got rid of him, still didn't win. You got rid of your old coach. You had your old coach, didn't win. Got rid of him, brought in Doc, didn't win. What's the common denominator in all of this?
Huh?
What if it's Embiid? What if he's just not the guy?
What
if he's just not the guy? Common denominator in all of this. And but the common denominator is normally, you know what I'm saying? So what if it's just time for him to be done in Philly?
No, sir. Absolutely not. There's no way I'm agreeing with that at all. I'm gonna tell you what the common denominator is in all those things that you just mentioned. The front office. That is the common denominator. Okay. Here's the thing. I like Doc Rivers. He's a good guy. But Doc hasn't, first of all, Doc hasn't won since he left Boston. Point number one. Point number two, he's never won a Game 7 in any playoff series. It's point number two. So point number three, and I get it, people will make this point that he always has players that are hurt, throughout the season or whatever the case, even when it comes to the playoffs. When he had those great Clippers teams, Chris Paul was hurt, Blake Griffin was hurt, whatever, I get it. Bad luck, that's fine. Clippers, then they had, was he there when Kawhi was there? I don't know if he was there when Kawhi was there 1 year or not. I don't know. But everywhere Doc goes, he has not won since he's been with Boston. So I'm not gonna put all of the blame on Doc. But at some point, when you keep going to different franchises and you don't win, there has to be something to be said about you as a coach.
As a coach,
I'm sorry. You haven't won. You haven't even been back to the Eastern or Western Conference Finals since you've been coaching. So there's something to be said about that. I don't think Mike Budenholzer should have got fired. I don't think Nick Nurse should have got fired. I don't think Monty Williams should have got fired. And guess what? I don't think Frank Vogel should have got fired. But that's fine. He was the scapegoat. But here's the difference with all of those guys in the past 5 or 6 seasons. Budenholzer, champion. Nick Nurse, champion. Frank Vogel, champion. Monty Williams, NBA Finals. NBA Western Conference Finals. Semifinals. He's at least got his team there. What has Doc done since he left Boston? Zero. So I'm not going to put the onus on Doc, but I will say this. When the Sixers lost Game 6, I knew it was a wrap. We were talking on the podcast when Game 6 happened. I'm going to point out one thing that happened in that game. Doc had 5 possessions where they didn't score, and they was up by 2 points against Boston. And Jason Tatum had 1 basket. There's no way you should not score a basket in 5 possessions when you're at home. There's no excuse for that. Absolutely no excuse for that. The other thing that I'm gonna say is this is why I say the Sixers front office. I can't stand them. You never should have let go of Jimmy Butler. You never should have drafted Ben Simmons. You never should have drafted Markelle Fultz, because the guys that you could have got Giannis, you could have got Jason Tatum.
Yep.
Like you could have got Brandon Ingram. You just don't draft well. And that's why the whole AI thing, I think AI is one of the greatest players. He doesn't have a championship, but he has a legacy. But they never could get back because they could never surround him with the right kind of players. I'm not saying Embiid doesn't have the players, but James Harden is washed. James Harden don't want to win. James Harden don't want to win. He just wants to party. He wants to hang out. He ready to go back to Houston. That's what they said. He's not going to pick up. They may not pick up his option. He goes back to Houston. Why do you keep Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
You see the difference. You see the difference.
So I'm not gonna blame Joel Embiid. I understand that he is a factor. Not gonna take that away from him. He hasn't been healthy a lot, but he has had an MVP season. And Maxey played well this year. You know, the Sixers are a player or two away, and I'm talking about a legit player. When we got Harden, I'm gonna tell you right now, I wasn't excited. I wasn't upset, but I wasn't like, oh man, we got Harden now. We about to go to the chip. I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking that all these pieces that we had, we were good enough to get there. And when you're a coach, my comment is always this: if we lose by 5 or 6 points, that's my fault. I should have been able to figure out a way for us to manufacture some points. That's just my fault. Right. Game 6, all on Doc. Game 7, that's the players. You lose by more than 20 points, that's the players.
They gave up. They quit. They quit after the second half.
Right. But here's the thing. They
quit basketball.
They was down. They was down by 3 or up by 3. They was down by 3 at halftime. So they was giving you something. What did the Lakers do when Golden State, when they played against Steph Curry? They made him have to go to the basket and not shoot 3-pointers. That's what they did. Right. How do you not double Jason Tatum? Just get the ball out of his hands. He's hot. He had 30 points in the first half. You get the ball out of his hands. That's all you do. Like at this point, I'm like, okay, coach's decision. We doubling Jason on everything. And somebody else will have to beat us. I don't care how they do it. I don't care if everybody else on the team hits 3-pointers for the rest of the game and we lose by 50. Jason Tatum ain't getting 51 points. I'm right. That's coaching to me. That's a coaching move.
I got you.
You was only down by 5 or 6 points at the point where he started heating up. Why don't you call timeout? Run a play. Embiid brought the ball down 5 times, was dribbling the ball and then trying to do one-on-one. It looked like Doc gave up.
It looked sloppy, man. It looked sloppy. It looked like Doc was sat back and was like, man, y'all just keep going. It was a backcourt violation on James Harden. So I was like, are you shitting me? A backcourt violation in a game 7? I'm like,
James Harden had 7. James Harden had 7 points. James Harden had 7 points, bro. 7 points.
It was horrible. It was horrible to watch. And it goes back to when you asked what did the Phillies fans, what did the Sixers fans around here feel? That they were waiting for that. Like that's the whole thing. Yep. I'm worried that this is gonna happen. This is gonna come. So yeah. It was a rough one, bro. Like so, but we're on to the second round. We're on to the second round of the playoffs. We should have some good match. We got the Denver. We got the Denver. Look at me. We got Denver versus LA.
I'm still a little salty about the Sixers, but we're gonna move on.
Granted, I got you, bro.
I don't even, man.
I know. That's why I'm trying to change subjects. Like I wanted to start with it, like rip the Band-Aid off and then go to something else. You know what I'm saying?
You did.
I want to have that be. You know what I'm saying?
Tis but a scratch.
Oh, man. So transitioning to some other news. Still in the NBA.
Yeah.
Still in the NBA. Mr. Ja Morant.
I'm gonna let you go first. I just got finished ranting. I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna touch on whatever you got to say about that because I have my thoughts on this Ja Morant. I will say this. I'm gonna say this real quick. Okay. I'm gonna say this real quick before you start. I'm gonna say this real quick.
Okay.
I saw somebody post something on Facebook where they showed Draymond Green getting ready to shoot a rifle at a shooting range. They showed like a whole team someplace about to go do some tag stuff or whatever. And then they showed another like 2 other people with guns, but they was at like ranges and stuff. Let me just say this first, and then I'm gonna let you take the floor, and then I'll proceed to go after that. That comparison is stupid because these people are at shooting ranges, they are out places, they are doing this for sport, and they are showing you. Right. This fool was in a club once with a gun, and then after being suspended for 8 games and being told by your job, don't do something stupid. You're with your boys, and they pop up an Instagram live, and you holding a gun again.
To your head, to your own head, though. To your own medulla, though. Right?
Floor is yours. Floor is yours first. Floor is yours first.
Why would someone work this hard to make it to the NBA to become a thug? Like, who does that? You mean to tell me you spent hours and hours in the gym becoming the one of the 1% to want to become a thug, to want to become a gangster, to want to become super tough guy? Like, I don't get it. It baffles me. I tell my athletes, when you get to college, become a square, bro. Go to school, do your work, play your sport, become a square. You don't go to school to become a tough guy. Who goes to the NBA or the NFL to say, oh, now I'm a rolling 60s Crip? There's rolling 60s Crips who want to be in the NBA, so they don't have to do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So why I don't get it. I'm not saying he's a rolling 60. What I'm saying is why wait to get all this money to get tough? And then on top of that, not saying he's not tough, but like with the flashing of the guns, then on top of that, I'm finding out that his mom got into an incident at a volleyball game with his sister and called Ja to come up there. Why are you calling Ja Morant? Why are you calling your NBA All-Star son to come fight at a high school volleyball game? What are you talking about? What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm from an era where you hired shooters for that. You had someone for that, so Ja didn't have to get his hands dirty. You had someone you would call that, so he wanted to get his hands dirty. But then you get into a fight with a son at a basketball event. So it leads me to believe that this has to be a lot deeper. And here's my thing. What Ja Morant did was not illegal. You can open carry, you can have the gun. I get all that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is perception is everything. And you already have apologized for the first one. So why do something again that can be so stupid? And I say that to say, just the same way that they're doing this with Ja Morant, which is warranted because he got caught before, they're reaching with my man Jalen Carter from Georgia. Just because he was in a red car with red interior don't mean he's affiliated with the Bloods. Like I told my man, so if he had white interiors, he now a Klan member? What are we doing? Like we gotta stop doing goofy shit. Like you can't do that. You can't do that type stuff. I mean, but again, like for Ja's situation, it's like, what kind of trouble are you in? Any serious trouble? Is there really something going on deeper than just the game of sport itself? Or is this his way of asking for help? Is this his way of maybe being like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore? You know what I mean? I could be going off of a deep end, but I mean, if you really look at it, you got popped for it. You said you changed. Your mom gets into a situation. She calls you. You come up there with like 8 or 9 people. Your friend who riding with you tried to go out onto the floor and fight somebody, got kicked out of the stadium for a whole year. Then while you at the Indianapolis Pacers game, they said that there was a black tinted out vehicle pointing laser lights at the other team. That's life-threatening situations there. You see what I'm saying? So when I hear it in its entirety, I'm like, yo, are you purposely trying to sabotage yourself? Like, so, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, it's crazy to me. Because here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being a gun enthusiast.
No.
You want to be a gun enthusiast? Go get a sponsorship from Black Rambo, right? Or go get a sponsorship from the NRA. And it's okay. It's cool. Go ahead. That's fine. But the way you're going about it, flashing it on social media, flashing it up in the club, that's the way to let somebody know that you're ready for problems. Like you got it on you because you're ready for an issue. you're not just learning it to protect yourself and all that other stuff. So I think it's crazy to me. On top of that, you're bound to be the face of the NBA. You have so many young kids, African American kids, looking up to you. You know what I mean? And this is how you're gonna portray yourself. Again, it goes back to who's in your inner circle. When your pop getting into it with Uncle Station, and then your mom calling you at a, mind you, a female volleyball game. Why are you calling your grown son to fight a female? What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I don't think the NBA can do anything per se, because it's like he said, he didn't do nothing illegal. The team would have to warrant something, but at the same time, man, someone
no. The NBA can do something,
even though it wasn't illegal.
This is a player conduct situation. This is the same. This is something detrimental to the league itself. This is just like the it's just like the NFL. Conduct detrimental to the league type of situation. So if it's a situation like that they can suspend him for stuff like that. And this was something that he had just done. Like he just got off suspension for doing something like this again. So you took it to a common sense level. I'm gonna take it to a bigger issue of what you might have mentioned last week about the company you keep and the culture that we are portraying. When you are this kind of a player and you don't take your job seriously, then this is what's going to ensue. And everybody thinks that, oh, well, he's a kid, you give a kid millions of dollars and he he's gonna make mistakes and blah 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that part. But here's the other part to that. There's a caveat to that. He don't just have a job. This ain't a regular job. He doesn't just have his boys and he got a good job. He has a coach, assistant coaches, trainers, PR people, HR people, owners, head of player personnel, teammates, commercials, endorsement deals. You have a branch of things to be worried about. And this is why I give so much props to people like Kobe Bryant, people like LeBron James. LeBron James is the elite of keep your nose clean and become a billionaire. Because Kobe had his dirt. Michael Jordan had his dirt. Crazy stuff happened. Questionable things happened to Michael Jordan. Shaq had his dirt. But they still ended up being upstanding players, citizens, XYZ. But when you look at all of those different things, and if you look at what LeBron has done, minimized allegations for anything, brought his boys up instead of going down to where they are. That just goes to show you the mentality he has, but also the mentality that he grew up with the people he was around. They weren't trying to bring him back to the hood.
Right.
They was like, get out of Akron. Right. Get out of Akron. And they went with him to get out of Akron. So, I say all that to say that there's other pieces to this. This is not just Ja Morant's fault. You just said it, talking about his family. It's a deeper issue at this point. What is your father saying to you? Right. What is your parents saying? What is your mother saying to you? What is your siblings or your other family members saying to you? Because you show me those people, then you'll understand why he does what he does. Right. This isn't like, just because you get money doesn't mean you don't just become smart. I said this episodes ago. Just because you got money don't mean everybody want to hear what you got to say. Doesn't mean that everything that you say is right. Doesn't mean that this is your path to wealth and you're wealthy. That's great. Good for you. Hope you're happy. you know.
Right.
But just like Antonio Brown, everybody makes the argument, and this is my stance, and I'm gonna stick with it. We'll touch on this when we start talking about NFL stuff another day. I don't think there's anything wrong with Antonio Brown. I think that people might say he got CTE. He started acting different after the Vontaze Burfict hit. Yeah. But Ryan Clark said it first. He said, don't give him money. Because he's just going to be more what he already was and what they had already saw. They already knew he was this way. Antonio Brown.
Money just makes you who you. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just think this is who Ja Morant is. I think that he came into the NBA with a chip on his shoulder. This chip was, you picked Zion Williamson over me. You thought JT Barrett was just as good as me. You thought all these guys were better than I was. And I'm better than all of them. And now he's kind of thumbing his nose into all those doubters. And it's like, okay, people pick Sam Bowie and, over Jordan.
But is that a chip or is that arrogance? Because that's kind of flirting the line. Because here's the thing. If you're upset that they picked those guys over you, why would you self-destruct like this? Because maybe this is what they saw. Why they picked those guys over. Because they saw this in you, and they said, we're not going to touch you. So if you're like, well, I'm going to prove you wrong, then doing this is not doing anything but proving them right. We already knew you had the athletic ability. We saw that. But we also saw this. We saw the fact that how your pop was when he came around. We saw how your mom was when he came around. They said, we're going to steer clear of this. And that's another for athletes. It's like, yo, the company you keep, even your parents can mess with your draft stock. They can mess with you getting recruited to colleges. They can mess with a lot of stuff. So you got to be very, very careful of that. And I get it. You love your parents. I'm not telling anybody to cut their family off. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, though, y'all got to have that conversation. Hey, man, I got to pull back. Case in point, I mean, don't get me wrong. He got all his sons to the NBA. The LeVar Ball situation, like, yo, at some point you got to pull back. And be like, hey, let your sons become men. Let your boys become men and do what you got to do. So, and I said this before. I said, man, there's no more Pop-Pops, right? Pop-Pop's not around anymore. Now Pop-Pop is 45 trying to hit the club to find a young John, right? There's no more moms, right? You can't pull up on my mom and sit down with my mom outside and my mom give you a sense of some common sense. Now my mom got to only, you know what I'm saying? It's not like that no more. Yeah. Like there's no more of those people. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, man. You can't. You can't.
You know what I'm saying?
No. You can't just say that and then just try to gloss over it. Did you just say that moms have OnlyFans?
She trying to get her cash app up. Like, you know what I'm saying? She trying to get her cash app up. Like, so it's not the same, bro.
It's not the same. They be getting hit up like Lil Boosie, like what's the little boy, the dude name? What is it? What's the cat?
Put it out. $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Put it online for $1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Show me your thing for $1,000. Oh man, hey. I'm sorry. I couldn't let you just gloss over that.
No. But I said this. Like, look, you can't just like. There's nobody sitting down giving that advice no more, bro. Like you used to be able to pull up on Pop, have a star, sit down, take a drink with me, and then explain some real stuff to you to make you G up real quick. My mom would do the same thing. And back in the day, even the hustlers and the gangbangers, if they knew you was a school dude, they say, yo, get away from here. Because it took a village. They be like, yo, ain't no need for you to be over hooping. Like, you are you're the one that makes it out so that we can, have a good story to tell. It's not like that anymore, man. Right.
The accountability level was instilled into you because of the people around you. Like, they would hold you accountable. And that's gone. That's gone now. This world and society has transitioned accountability and gotten better.
Tragically, bro.
So let's talk about with the NBA. we're talking about. I mean, it's a game on right now. The Lakers and Nuggets is playing right now.
Oh,
I usually don't even be paying attention to the scores until it's the third quarter or something. If a team is like within 7 to 5 points, whatever, then I'm at halftime. I'm watching then. But I think let's talk about these matchups. Denver against the Lakers. I want to talk about that one first. I think in the long run, I think that the Lakers are going to be a matchup problem for Denver. I know Jokic is that dude right now, but I think defensively, the Lakers can get after him. They can probably get the ball away from him.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play well at home. The Nuggets are probably going to play well the first game, maybe the first 2 games. The thing is, the Lakers don't have to win any of the first 2 games. If they do, that's fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I think that this is a series that can go 6. I think if the Lakers get a game in Denver, it goes 6. I think if they don't get one in the first 2 games, I think it goes 7. I think it does go 7. Denver's not a great road team. They got a lot of others that can fade away at times. Jamal Murray's inconsistent. Jokic is going to do his thing. It's always going to be about the others, and the others always play well at home. So I think that they'll play well in the first 2 games. I think that when the Lakers maybe take control of that, I think there's an opportunity to steal a game someplace. But I wouldn't be surprised if Denver wins the first 2, Lakers win their 2, and then they start switching. And the first team that wins, a road game with 2 in a row is going to be the one that takes it, that wins it, I think. But but at the same time, it's a toss up. What's your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
I haven't had the opportunity to really watch Denver. I watched them once, and it was the last game against Phoenix. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was more that Phoenix was inept or Denver was just this phenomenal. I was watching, they were passing the ball. They had their first 6 shots were wide open layups. They looked very methodical. They were a team that played together. It's sickening because it reminded me of what Redlands looked like when we played Redlands back in the day. You know how disciplined they were.
Oh man, I hated.
You know what I'm saying? Redlands, but we hated them because they were so disciplined in the way they did. It looked like 5 passes then shot. If that is how Denver plays, I have to watch them more. If that is how Denver plays, I don't see the Lakers winning the series because that's going to tell me that LeBron is going to have to put it on his back again. He's going to have to put the cape on again and lace everything up again because, again, if it comes down to his big man is not consistent. And Jokic is consistent. And so that's what it'll come down to. Come down to where if LeBron has to go out here every night again and put up 40, 30, and Denver gets to pass it around to where each player has 15 and 20 because they're passing the ball around, I think he's going to tire out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think to take it. It's going to come down to the big men. And if they play as a team, and if LeBron can depend on his guy, hey, I'm passing you this rock, bro, hit this jump shot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hit this jump. If they start missing jump shots, which you're going to see LeBron James do, I don't know if you guys notice it. He kind of puts his head back. And then when he comes back down, he's in a different zone. And all of a sudden, he's taking every shot bucket. Everything is a layup. Everything. He's taking the next 10 to 20 shots. Because at that point, I think in his mind, he's like, yo, I can't trust you guys to make a bucket for him. You know what I mean? And if he has to do that, I'm not saying that they can't win. But if LeBron has to do that, it's going to be a rough win going into the finals, going into the next, the next round of the playoffs.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think if LeBron has to carry the load, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think that they win the series. If he has to carry the load, I don't think they win the series. Not saying he's not capable. He's 38.
Right.
He's not capable.
He shouldn't have to.
He shouldn't have to.
At this point, he should. Somebody should be like, hey, OG, we're going to take this off of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it should match up, but that's determinant for me is gameplay and strategy and how they play. If Denver's playing methodically, if they're passing the ball and they got them moving around, shifting, getting the easy bucket, and then you see LA trying to win or die by the 3. I think it's going to be a struggle. I think it's going to be a struggle for LA.
I think we need to give a shout out to. Then we need to start giving credence, giving some respect to these bubble teams, because everybody was talking trash about the bubble and that it was a Mickey Mouse championship and blah 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 and all this and that. We could look at the two teams that's back in the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, Denver Lakers, and it's the Celtics and the Heat.
No. What I'm saying the two teams that was in the NBA Finals championship in the bubble was the Heat and the Lakers. And who's back in the Western Conference Finals? The Lakers. Who's back in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
The Miami Heat. And if both of them go back to the finals again, I don't want to hear nothing about that championship in the bubble because we 3 years removed from that, and now they're back. And the Heat was an 8 seed. The Lakers is a 7 seed. So you know,
Miami, my wild card squad, bro. They're my wild card squad. I just love the way they're playing right now. Jimmy Butler, the way he's pushing and motivating those guys. They're my wild card to make some serious noise. Could they? Anybody, of course, anybody could. But I had them over Boston, bro. I got them over Boston. Like it's just the way that they're playing. It has nothing to do with the ranking. It has nothing to do with the ranking. It has to do with the way that they're playing. Like if I'm Boston, I'm not going into the thing. Oh, this is gonna be a cakewalk. Glove up. You got glove up to go on Miami, bro.
If the Miami Heat make it to the finals and the Lakers don't make it to the finals, I'm obviously rooting for the Heat at that point. Because I want Jimmy Butler to get a championship. I think that will put a cap on his career, in my opinion. I think that if he can get a championship, that'd be awesome. For him, Eric Spoelstra would be the only coach that coached LeBron to ever even get back to the finals and win. if that's the case. And that, I was talking about this the other day, that kind of just goes to show you Pat Riley, man. Pat Riley is
a coach.
He's like, he's not, I want to say a genius, but I feel like I'm not giving him enough credit by saying that because he's doing more than just coaching. Like he's behind the scenes, and he took a dude that was a video coordinator. You don't have to know, you don't have to be in the NBA, be a professional athlete, or even get that far to know how to coach and design games for basketball or football. Like if you dedicate your time, your energy, you put the work in, and you do all of those things, you can do what these guys are doing. And it's the next level to me. It's next level. Video coordinator, and now you two-time NBA champion, and then you went back to the finals, lost, and now you may go back again. You won series away from being an 8 seed. And they ain't got Tyler Hero.
But we love about the NBA. That's what we love about it.
Yeah, true. So real quick news. I'm interested to see like how the NBA plays out. Quick news. I want to get your thoughts on this. This affects your division, your Chicago Bears division.
Okay.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Dalvin Cook is going to be released by the Minnesota Vikings. My question is, where do you think he goes? And now, how do you feel about your Chicago Bears in this division? With the loss of two of the biggest stars in y'all division are gone. Aaron Rodgers and Dalvin Cook.
Follow Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Cook, and go to Cleveland. Right? Go to Cleveland. Go to Cleveland. Go to Cleveland. Like that's monster right there. Go to Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like for real.
They got too many backs. They can't take him if he already. They already got Nick Chubb.
I love it. Again, you always want to be in a division where there's competition. You don't want to be in a light division where like you're gonna dog walk everybody. Like you know what I mean? I think
I mean, I don't mind that.
Right. I think this narrows the playing field to where you're going to see potentially 4 African-American quarterbacks in a division fighting for a title. Right? Because I don't think what's his name's going to be there much longer. Jared Goff, because they drafted the Bull Hooker, and then I think Minnesota also got a black quarterback too. I forget who it was, but they drafted a quarterback as well. So I think you're going to see a changing of guards where pretty soon, all right, Kirk Cousins, you're gone. Jared Goff, you're gone, and then it's going to be Jordan. It's going to be Jordan Love, Justin Fields, Hooker, and the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And I think then you're going to see what these young boys can do. All the old blood is out. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a lot of new blood in there. I love it. Again, anytime my team makes new trades and new acquisitions that year, I just watch and see what happens. You know what I mean? I want to watch and see what happens. We got the new linebacker. I keep forgetting about my man, Tremaine Edwards. He's going to be great at that position. Wide receiver. We got the tight ends. Now I want to see how these coaches, again, I'm going back to coaching. You saw what Justin Fields could do with his feet. Yes, the boy can throw the ball. Can he work on it? Absolutely. But you got him a 1 receiver. You got him a 2. You got him a slot guy in Mooney. You got yourself your running back. You got your defense set up. You got your corners. You got every position. You got your tackle, right? Yeah. You got your young tackle. Right? You got some other pieces in free agency. Now, how do you scheme to win games? How are you going to coach these guys now to win games? That's what I want to see now. Now I want to see what the coach does. Ryan Poles, I love Ryan Poles. I love the new guy that they got, the new owner, the guy that used to work in the NCAA. They legitimately went out. Ryan Poles went out and got checked off everything on the list. Everything on the list. Word was he was trying to get Robbie Gould back in 2019. Because that was a dumb move when Chicago got rid of him. He was trying to get him back, couldn't get him back. But Ryan Poles checked off the list. Now he's going to his coaches and said, here's a box of shiny, new, beautiful custom toys that I moved around in the draft and got for you. And I got it. And what's even crazier is if this don't work, I got us 2 first rounders next year if we got to get a quarterback or anybody else because this dude doesn't, because Justin Fields doesn't work out. He's laid the table out for the coach, for Eberflus, for the defense, for everybody. Now run this team. And he's like, y'all shouldn't have to hear from me unless they call me out for a press conference. My name, Ryan Poles. They now I want to see how they scheme their offense now that you have a legit quarterback, you have a run game, you have receivers, you have a pretty good defense, you got some linebackers in Edmonds and the other guy, Sanborn. You got linebackers. You got my biggest concern probably for them would be the front 4. They may need the deep front 4. Because now, if that defensive front 4 doesn't get pressure, you're forcing these corners to cover longer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that may be something that we'll watch this year, and that's something that maybe they can address next year, or even if they can just grip up maybe a couple light veterans real quick. That would probably be it for me. But I'm looking forward to see what they do. As far as predictions-wise, as long as we win more games than we won last year, it's a win. A win is a win. You know what I'm saying? But I think they're going to do pretty good. I'm looking forward to actually enjoying Chicago Bear football next year, to be able to watch it. Even though they were losing this year, I stomach it. But next year, I look to sit down and enjoy watching football. Watching them play.
I agree. I think the NFC North is going to be probably one of the more exciting divisions to watch, not just because of the parity that's going to exist in that. But I think that there's so many teams that are right on the cusp of either being good, Chicago Bears, Packers transitioning to a new era without Aaron Rodgers, Detroit, can they build on the success that they had last year? Minnesota, are you going to continue to be the laughing stock of prime football and being the best but team? That's always Minnesota. They're 12 wins, but yeah, they got Kirk Cousins and he got all these numbers and he looks good, okay, on paper. But yeah, you
can't trust them. You cannot trust Minnesota.
You can't trust Minnesota. So I don't honestly, they're one of those teams. How I was thinking about Denver before, until obviously Denver made it to the Western Conference Finals. Now we'll see what happens moving forward. But the Minnesota Vikings to me was like that. Like, I don't care how many wins Minnesota gets. I don't care what they do to other teams. I don't care if they blow teams out. I will not trust them until they win a playoff game.
They got to win the postseason.
And it can't be some foolishness like what happened when they played us and we killed them. Like when they played against the Saints and the ball whiffed and they just ran it in for a touchdown. It can't be that. It can't be that. It has to be something legit. Now we'll throw another one at you.
I will. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, let me throw this one at you. Sure. They're talking about releasing another player. Tennessee Titans, Malik Willis.
Yes.
Talking about getting rid of Malik Willis.
Yes.
I am a little shocked that they're doing that. But I'm gonna touch on that. But real quick, where do you think Dalvin Cook would fit? Give me two teams he would fit right now. Two teams he would fit. You don't have to elaborate, but just two teams he would fit.
I think we talked about it before. I think Jax mentioned a good one was Seattle. Seattle will be a team that we mentioned before. I think it was Seattle. Yep. And I just mentioned it, Cleveland. I don't think they have a solid back out there. They got Nick Chubb, right?
They still got Kareem Hunt. I mean, I don't know what it is, but nobody else will take it. Nobody else will take it. He's not a bad back. He's not a bad third down back.
I'm like Jacksonville, maybe. I don't. No. They got ETN down there. So yeah, Travis Etienne down there.
You know what? I'm gonna throw.
That'll probably my.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Denver.
Okay.
I think Denver could use a receiving back. Javonte Williams is a decent back. He hasn't been able to be healthy, but I think Denver wouldn't be a bad fit. And then also, why not the Texans? Why not go to the Texans? They over there rebuilding. They got a lot of money. They got one back, Dameon Pierce, who's a bruiser back, but they don't got a third down back, or they don't got a change of pace back.
I got a funny feeling we're gonna see.
Wait! I'm gonna throw one more out there. I'm gonna throw one more out there. I thought about Dallas too, but they can't afford them.
I got
St. Louis. I mean, not St. Louis. Los Angeles, the Rams. Why not the Rams?
Yeah.
Why not the Rams?
Yeah.
They don't have anybody. They don't really got a running back. They was trying to get rid of your boy before. I forget what his name is now. Who's the back?
You know what would be dangerous? What if he went to Buffalo?
Now somebody said that. Ooh. Now hold on. That's not a bad idea either. Bro. His brother's there.
Yeah.
James and Dalvin could be in Buffalo.
I heard they was trying to get not Malik Henry, Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to get him. If they could get Dalvin Cook, that would be Josh Allen would be absolutely enamored with having a solid back like that to where you don't have to throw the ball as much. If he went to Buffalo, that would be game changing. And in the AFC, they got to put some respect on Lamar Jackson. I don't know how you leave him off the top 10 with what he got. I think he will go out there and put up numbers just to get his respect. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I know he's not a huge, like I said, he's not a huge piece, but Malik Willis, I want to get your thoughts on the idea of not giving him an opportunity to develop. Like they drafted that dude, Will Levis, and now they're looking at trying to release or move on with Malik Willis. Do you think that it's a development thing that they don't want to develop him? or that they haven't seen him attempt to develop himself? Or is it just, hey, we just not into the running quarterback? We saw what we saw last year when Tannehill was hurt, and we just want to move on. And I'm gonna say this: if that's the situation, I don't see why somebody like the Patriots wouldn't try to pick him up. Maybe try to develop him, because I know that Bill Belichick wants that type of a quarterback at some point. He did well with Jacoby Brissett. I think that obviously Garoppolo, he's a decent guy. He was okay, but I think that they got Cam Newton at the end of his career when they wanted him to do Cam Newton things when he was in Carolina, and he just wasn't that guy anymore. So, what about the Patriots going after somebody like Malik Willis? Because I can't really think of any other place he might want to go that would develop him the way that I think that he would need it.
I think Malik Willis is done in Tennessee. I think they saw enough, just like the 49ers saw enough in Trey Lance. Like, they've seen enough. Even though we didn't see a lot, we saw enough. You know what I mean? Like, so I would think a spot maybe even like Washington. Ron Rivera's a great coach. You got a pretty good defense there. You got some nice young weapons. You know what I'm saying? A good spot for him. Me personally, I would love to see him go to, and I know it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen because they got their quarterback, but I would love to see him go to Pittsburgh, because I just think Mike Tomlin is a coach who can just coach anything. You know what I'm saying? I just think he's a coach that can do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I thought about Pittsburgh too, but they're talking about bringing back Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, they got Kenny Pickett, they got Mason Rudolph, they got their guy. Like, they have it. It's like, so unfortunately that wouldn't work, but I think Washington would be open to it. Another mobile quarterback, add another mobile quarterback to that division. He might get a chip, have a chip on his shoulder, and you might see what you saw from him in college now here, because he's like, yo, I didn't get a shot in Tennessee like I thought I was going to get. Let me go here and do something different. Patriots, I could see it, but I can't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I can, but I can't. They're heavily vested in Mac Jones. You know what I mean? And even then, I think they're kind of backing off of him. You know what I mean? They're backpedaling off of my man a little bit. So potentially, but anywhere he goes, I think the kid, I would love to see him start immediately, just so he could just knock the rust off. But of course, if he could go maybe another year or so behind a legit veteran, not a Ryan Tannehill, a legit veteran. You know what I mean? And he gets to where you know you're gonna get, like, if you could choose, like, let's say he was to go to like Detroit and sit behind Goff, legit veteran behind them, and then boom, you come in and you get your work. You know what I'm saying? So but I do say Washington, not for the sake because they have a solid vet there, but I trust Ron Rivera to do what he does.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I just don't trust Washington.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm trying to cut ties with Chase Young. Oh, Chicago, call him. Pick up the phone, Ryan Pace. Pick up the phone.
Hey, I would do. Hey, listen, you just talked about their front seven. I would do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Picks next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Take one of them picks we got next year.
Give me
Chase Young.
Well, but I'll take a Chase Young. I'll take a Chase Young. Any hands down. Yeah, Chicago call. Chicago call.
Yeah. Call. Chicago call. Yeah. Well, I think I mean, like I said, man, it's going to be interesting. I think it's exciting to have these new things come up. NFL season is upon us. I mean, the NBA is culminating. The NBA is reaching a climax. I think that, unfortunately, as much as I've enjoyed watching the NBA this season, this playoffs, I do think that if it's the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets, or if it's the Boston Celtics and the Denver Nuggets, unfortunately, I don't think anybody's gonna watch. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
No disrespect to Denver, man. I just feel like if they go, nobody's gonna pick them to beat the Boston Celtics or the Miami Heat, and I just don't think anybody wants to see that yet. You know, not when LeBron and the Lakers, the story franchise, is so close. I think if it was a different team, if there wasn't any interest because the Lakers were out of it, like Golden State's out of it. I think if that was the situation, then maybe people wouldn't care as much. They would have already resigned themselves to the fact that it's going to be Phoenix or Denver, or it's going to be, you know, whoever in Denver. But at this point, I feel like if it's Denver and Boston or Denver and Miami,
wouldn't it be crazy? Every year that Joker won the the MVP, it should have been Embiid. It should have been Embiid. All right, well here you go, Embiid. Get dog walked by Boston, and then Joker goes and wins a championship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You don't always pay to be the MVP of the league, man.
That storyline would be crazy, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, here you go. And that's why we didn't even see the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying? Joker goes off and wins the chip. So, excited for it, man. I think it'll be something to watch. I think there's going to be a lot of storylines coming out of it. Would I love to see LeBron go back again? Absolutely. It would be great for him. The one thing I'm waiting on that I think is going to cement LeBron's legacy for me personally is to see him strap up either on the same team as his son or on the same court as his son.
Right.
I think for me, that's going to solidify everything. Speaking of which, his son is already making powerhouse moves inside of college by going to USC, bringing Dennis Rodman's son, and getting another draft to come over there. That should tell you something. Now, do I think they're going to be there for the whole 4? I don't know, but that's going to be crazy coming out of USC.
And his NIL deal right now is already at $9 million.
Right. So, for me, submit his career is to have his son lace up his sneaks to be on either the same team or even the same court as his father. That, to me, at that point, LeBron can officially say, I'm done. I don't have to play. Y'all can't touch me. You know what I'm saying? You can't touch me. I'm better. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna leave it with these two. I'm gonna leave it with these 2 points. Since we're talking about, like, we'll finalize with these 2 points. My 2 points I'm gonna make. Like I said, I'm enjoying the NBA. I'm loving this season. Love these playoffs better than last year's playoffs. But to see LeBron at age 38 being this effective, for one, is ridiculous. And I saw a picture of LeBron in Cleveland, his first stint in Cleveland, being guarded by Darvin Ham.
Ooh.
And now Darvin Ham is coaching him in the playoffs. So it's like, and like you said, him playing with his son, like it's that's so surreal to see. Right. And I'm saying this, I don't care how much longer LeBron plays. I hope LeBron plays until he's 45. I hope I hope he's Tom Brady. Because think about this. Could you imagine a not so dominant LeBron James at age 42, 41, coming off the bench for a team like Boston or a team like Philly, or if the Lakers re-up and get more players, if he just decided to be a guy a 6-man. Like, what's the 6-man LeBron? What would that look like? You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it right now so we can come back to this moment. If LeBron James' son ends up on the same team as his dad, you are going to watch at least 3 more years come off his career. He's going to play better. He's going to be, I'm with my son? You got to be kidding me. He's going to, what is he, 45? 38? I'm sorry, 38?
Yeah.
LeBron's 38. If he gets drafted, he's going to be playing like when he was 34, 35 years old. You see what I'm saying? He's going to play younger. 3 months. I get to call with my son? Right. You got to be kidding me. Bruh, I'm going to call it now. If he's born with his son, he's going to play till he's about 42 years old. Without question. Play on the same team as him.
Yep.
He's going to play.
We got about 2 years. We got 2 years.
Yeah.
I think 2 years. Yeah. Bronny got to play at least 1 year. And then I think you'll see him, and then Bronny will get drafted. And I feel like I don't know. I just don't see how the Lakers will be able to get him. I just don't see how.
Talking about LeBron James here, bro. We're talking about LeBron James here, bro.
like,
come on.
Like, I just don't know how he can do it.
Imagine the picture, bro. LeBron James throwing the lob to his son. Coming out.
I would love to see that.
That would be so saucy, bro. So
that would be so
man.
saucy. Yeah, I would love to see.
Yeah,
that. I would.
That would be it.
I would love to see that
yep.
for sure. Well, we gonna end it now. I love. Hey, like I said, man, it seems like every week we could do this all day. Like, you know, and
and real quick, I want to give a shout out to the XFL. I want to give a shout out to Bobby Stoops, the winning. The Arlington Renegades won the championship. This is a perfect example of your record doesn't matter. They started off, I think it was like with 2 wins and 4 losses. They ended up coming back, winning their games. I think they had like one of the worst records, but they still made it to the chip. They went up against a 10-1 Defenders team out of DC and gave them boys from go. So shout out to the Arlington Renegades. Shout out to the coach Bobby Stoops, and that's the definition of not quitting. That's the definition of playing every down, every play, no matter what. Shout out to the Arlington Renegades. Wanted to get that off.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the USFL playing right now too.
USFL. I watch some of that. On there, I'm gonna get back on that.
I watched a little bit of the USFL last year. I didn't watch a lot of the XFL. So yeah, like you said, shout out to to Arlington. I'm only going to give them a shout out once because you know me, I'm not a Dallas anything or Texas anything fan. I do like the Texans. I'm not going to say that. Let me take it back. I do like the Texans. I don't hate the Mavericks, so I can't say that. But shout out to Arlington. Shout out to any teams. Semi-pro doing that, I don't care. You get a championship running semi-pro. It's man, that's such a cool thing to have and to say that you've done. G League, Arena Football, USFL. I don't care what it is, but these guys are getting an opportunity to continue to play, and it's great for them, and I think that's awesome. So yeah, definitely shout out. We keep keeping an eye on the USFL, and we'll be keeping an eye on the prospects that come out of these 2 teams. These two leagues. Some of these guys might make it to the NFL. Some of these guys can make an impact in the NFL.
They're gonna cause some ruckus when they get up there. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. But we appreciate y'all.
Absolutely
y'all following us. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, we love having feedback. We love getting some type of anything connection with our fan base and people that are supporting of us. We're going to be looking to try to be on other platforms as well as we continue to grow. If you have any topics, things you think we should talk about, hit us up. We're all reachable. You know how to get to us. But I just want to say we appreciate y'all. Anything you want to say, Skid?
Oh man, same thing. We're gonna stay consistent. We're gonna be on it. We're gonna keep giving y'all topics. Shout out again to our cousin AJ. He hit me up. He said that he listens to our podcast every day on his way to work. So we are his morning. We are his morning listen. So we got to keep this thing rocking, man. AJ, thank you so much for supporting us, and everybody else supports us that comes, checks it out, clicks the like button, shares the link, whatever the case may be. We don't care. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we're gonna go ahead and keep this rocking. Looking forward to the NFL season. We got a good game on right now. Hey man, let's go watch these games and give them some content for next week.
Hey, that's what I'm gonna do. We gonna shoot by next week. We're gonna have maybe like 3 or 4 games to talk about.
Absolutely.
All right, bro.
Well, holla at y'all, man. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all next week.